Hollywood. YouTube.
All right, so as you can see, there's a speed bump here now, so I have to come to a slow. I lived in this building right here to my right, and when I came downstairs that fateful day, I lived up on the 3rd floor. There was fire trucks all right here on the left. It was a line, and then there was a highway patrol, and they were doing life-saving, CPR, everything they could. They were working on them right here. So you can see where this trash can is. It says slow, children to play. There's a speed bump here. It says stop ahead. You would still think they would have a mirror, because look, it's a blind curve. So the crosswalk is at the blind curve right here. And like I said, imagine, again, there's a speed bump now right there, but there wasn't before, all the way back. So you can imagine how fast people could go. And the little boy was struck right here. He was struck right here as he was, was it on this side? Well, his mother and father lived in that apartment right there. And we have a community garden, and we would come out here and we would plant vegetables and stuff, and his son would hang out with my son. They have a statue here, but he was just crossing with his grandmother. He had his little scooter, and he was crossing, and his grandmother was not far in front of him. And the person came. She was in a Lexus SUV. She was driving. Her husband was in the passenger seat, and she had her 2 daughters that were, I don't know, maybe they were either 12 to 15 years old. They were old enough to understand what they were seeing, because it was a pretty brutal sight. So when I came down those staircases and I saw them working on the boy right here, I was angry, because I used to take my vehicle and stop people, and say, ask them to slow down. And they would say I was overthinking it, blah, blah, blah. Army people, whatever. I've thrown oranges at people's windshields to try to get them to stop. And I even went door to door and was asking people, like, hey, it's dangerous in here. Keep supervision. Because people were just letting their kids run around out here on bicycles and running all around completely unsupervised. And added to the speed problem, across the way, they had turned an old hotel into a homeless shelter. And so after that happened, there was a lot of people coming into this apartment complex, utilizing drugs in the laundry room. We had a break-in. Somebody climbed up to the 2nd or 3rd tier up there to steal my neighbor's recycling. And that apartment on the very right there, one of our neighbors woke up like at 2 a.m. and somebody was in their apartment, had to go to like hand-to-hand combat. But all the residents were out here, and they were, like I said, the fire trucks, the ambulance, the highway patrol. I guess a highway patrol is probably the closest to respond, because Highway 101 is literally right there where those cars are going by on the other side where that tree is. So, they were all trying to save the little boy's life. So when I came out, I was angry. I yelled out profanity, and this guy got up and came around the thing and came running at me. So I assumed he was the driver, but I had my son in my arms and he was rushing me. So I Muay Thai kicked him, I teeped him, knocked him on his ass. And then the highway patrol got up and said, hey, not right now, this ain't the time and the place. And that's when I realized that he wasn't the driver, it was his wife. And that she was over here bawling and crying, and the daughters were crying. So I asked the neighbors to hold my son. And it still kind of pissed me off, the dude rushing my son in my arms. But then I went to try to console the family members over here. But those people had to move out of this complex, and nothing was done about it. There was nothing done to help the family. There was no criminal action held against the lady. And so when I tell the story about just like, it must have been 6 or 7 days before, we had 2 cars. So we had our dedicated parking spot on this side, and then we were parking right here where that Toyota Camry is. And like I said, if you get out of your car, as soon as you step out here, you're in the lane. And so we had worked in San Francisco. We came back, got our son, and we were getting out of our car. And oh yeah, that's right. We had a clean air vehicle, so we could park right here too. So we were getting out, and I saw the lady coming really fast down there. And so I stepped out here, and I said, like that. And she stopped, and she was like, "What did I do?" And I was like, "You're driving too fast." And 6 days later, maybe 7, that's when she ran over that little boy and killed him. So just that fast. And I went to management, I went to everybody, trying to get people just to take it seriously. And that little 4-year-old boy is dead. And I never get over the fact that what if that was my son? You know, to see somebody else's child die right there over something that could have been prevented. And just the apathy and the attitude that people had, and the way you ask people to just take it seriously, you know, life and death. People just gave you so much attitude and sass, and made you think like you were overthinking it. But when a little boy died, everybody was like, "Oh, how'd this happen?" And you know what happened. The people that were speeding through here and doing all that shit, they just put their head down, because we had a big old meeting inside that building right there with the highway patrol and with management and with the owners, and all those same people that were giving me attitude and banter and all that shit, like people do about the pesticides, or people do about the people riding the bikes and drinking and driving. All the attitude and the apathy and the dismissiveness of all that shit. It's all good until somebody passes away. So we can think better than that. We can do our best to prevent it. We can't prevent every single life and death circumstance, but a lot of these unfortunate outcomes, they're preventable. They're cause and effect, caused by somebody not doing what they should, or maybe we could do better. That's all I'm saying. So hate it or leave it, I don't care. You know, get it how you live. But I'm gonna keep doing what I do.